Hello everyone, this is Adam from CLEARBLAST. I just want to go over how this actuator works. This valve here is used on the CLEARBLAST equipment. It's used both as the slurry gate valve as well as our depressurized valve. We've had a few questions as far as making sure that the functionality of this is working properly, and so I just want to show you a few things that you can look for to show you if that is working or not. So on the actuator itself, on the end, you have a sight glass. And so when you activate this valve, which is spring closed and air open, you can see an indicator here moving if this valve is functioning. So first thing is you can test that. If you are using your machine as normal, if you were to say wanting to test your slurry valve, when you pull the trigger, this valve is then opening, which is then when you should see a yellow indicator. Same thing with a depressurized valve. When you put it into depressurized mode, air is going to the valve and opening it, again showing you this indicator when it is working properly. This allows you to not have to take the whole valve apart to see that there is action with that diaphragm. And at the end here, I'll show you the other side so you can see physically what's happening. But this is going to be the easiest way to indicate whether this valve is good. So I have just shop air here hooked up, functioning the same way as if you were to then, hey, I pulled the trigger, there's your indicator. I let go of my trigger, release the air pressure, and that will go back into its housing. So again, when air goes to the valve, you have that indicator showing you the action of this piston. There's a disc in here with an O-ring around it that basically separates this into two chambers. So again, on this particular valve, it's spring closed. So this port here, if it is utilized, it is air assist closed, but it is still a spring closed valve. And then we use pneumatic air to open it. So you're pushing against, basically pressurizing this chamber that's created here, pushing against the disc, compressing the spring, and opening the valve. All right. Now, if we swing around here, you can see the section in which your rubber diaphragm would be screwed to. And again, better look. When you pull the trigger or activate the valve, you can see that goes in, which would be opening, the diaphragm, pulling it away from the piping that this is mounted to. So the spring closes it, pushing that diaphragm against the piping, and when it's activated, the piston pulls all that away, allowing flow through the valve. All right, so if you have the valve apart, this is the best way certainly to truly see everything going on. But this sight glass here is the second best thing. I'll show you that one more time. Sometimes this can get a little foggy. You can unscrew this to clean it if you wish, or even just to get a better look. Sometimes they're not all that tight. So here, I can do this one by hand. Because we are not pressurizing the closed side, you can check this out. Now, if we do have an air assist on the valve, like for instance the latest generation does have an air assist close on the slurry line. If you have air pressurizing your system, do not remove this, or otherwise you will have air blowing through it. But this is going to allow us to just get a better look if you have a foggy sight glass. There's your indicator. As the air releases, it's going to go back in. Pulling it again, there's it open. All right, so again, that's your diaphragm valve. Just a simple tutorial to give you a little bit more insight on how that operates. If you are, actually one more thing, if you are diagnosing if this is an issue or not, another thing, if you are, testing, hey, do I have proper air coming here? Remove the line, pull your trigger. You should have air that shoots out of this line. Same thing with the depressurized valve. Remove the line, put it into depressurize. You should have air that comes from the line as soon as you go to depressurize or on your blaster slurry valve as soon as you pull the trigger. You should have air coming from this. So that's another great way to determine, functionality is all there. If you have lack of flow on your pot, if this is all looking good, you could have an obstruction, or you could be dealing with something with your pot pressure being too low compared to where your blast pressure is set. So that would be the next place where that we'd look. All right, again, this is Adam Souls from ClearBlast on the actuator valve. All right, take care.